Hello! So this is actually the second version of the sketchbook tour. So if you'd rather watch a non-chatty, just like flipping through the art, 3-minute sketchbook tour with like some lo-fi 8-bit music in the background, you can check that out. I'll put it up on the screen now. I've never done a chatty sketchbook tour, even though the rest of my videos are like super rambly, just because I feel like there's such like a world in this sketchbook, you know. I created art in this for 10 months straight, and even if it's just like a portrait of like just a practice painting of a face I found online, there was so much probably going on at the time that made me want to sit down and paint that, like, how can I explain that without first thing like oversharing online and also fitting it all into a video? I don't know. And I feel like once I put the camera on, I lose complete train of my thoughts. Like, I have no idea what I want to say anymore. But nonetheless, this will be my first attempt at a chatty sketchbook tour. So as you may be able to tell from the fact that this sits crookedly, I handmade the sketchbook using embroidery thread from the dollar store and a chicken box, I don't even eat chicken, as the cover with some cardstock over it. And then I used this paper, which is from Fabriano. It's 160 GSM mixed media paper, and it's like a collab, I guess, with Desserts, which is the art store chain in Canada. So I actually really like this paper. It's not perfect, but overall it did what it said. It holds every type of media I tried. Maybe not perfectly, but it holds every media quite average, if that makes sense. Like, I could use watercolor, it doesn't warp too much. I used acrylic, it was able to handle color pencils and water-based markers and ink, so I have no problem with it. And it was just around $10 for 150 sheets, so yeah, I have no problem with it. I just wish I had gotten a larger size. This one's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches because I had to bind this sketchbook single sheet. So I don't love that, but otherwise this paper was pretty good. So this sketchbook I actually started after a period of not drawing in a long time. And like most artists, I am scared of the first page of my sketchbook, so this was actually the last page I finished in my sketchbook. I painted this page, as you can see the date here, on January 18th, using watercolor and gouache, and this is one of my first gouache attempts, and it's something like this combination of mediums, because I had just gotten gouache when I painted this, is something I really want to explore more in the future and in my next sketchbook, so look out for more stuff like this. I really like how this turned out. But as I said, this sketchbook was started on March 19th, which was in Canada just about the beginning of the quarantine. I think we were already maybe a week or two into the quarantine at this point, and so this entire sketchbook was completed during the quarantine. And like I said, when I started the sketchbook, I hadn't painted in a long time. So this beginning is a little bit rough. All of this is actually documented on my channel, all these acrylic paintings that I did. So you can check those out. I was trying to work on painting portraits more colorfully, I suppose. And I don't love how these paintings turned out. I also have a problem with just painting portraits. Like, I don't know, something to me, like, I love when artists paint portraits or, you know, paint just simple things, just practice their technique and have incredible techniques. But for me, I always feel like I'm wasting opportunities to paint things that mean more to me, if that makes sense, because I have so much going on in my head that when I paint a portrait, like, I don't look back on this and feel that proud of it, you know, even if the technique is good. This, on the other hand, I really like this piece, even though, like, I feel like technically it's worse than something like this, let's say. I think this piece is just really sweet. It's like me and my boyfriend, and for some reason these two make me really happy. And I guess that's, you know, art. When you put more meaning into something, you'll look back on it more fondly. But anywho, this 6 days into making this sketchbook, I painted this sheet, and this face is actually another go at this face. And I feel like you can see after just a few days of painting consistently how much better my art got. But like I said, the beginning of this sketchbook is pretty rough, at least in my eyes. And so I do like this page, but The next page in the sketchbook is, in my mind, the absolute worst spread I think I've completed in years. I don't know what it is about this spread, but I really don't like it. But I feel like after this point, this is where my sketchbook really begins. Like, this is where I started loosening up more and using more mediums and not feeling so, like, held back by my, I suppose, by what I was capable of doing, by my skills. That being said, that's a problem I feel like I always encounter, is feeling like I'm held back by what I'm capable of doing, which I've talked about in almost every video on my channel, about how I just don't draw as much as I want to or complete as many ideas as I want to, just because I am scared to mess them up. But nonetheless, I really like this page. This is a page that I did, or this whole spread actually. This is a page that I did here while I was just like swatching out my watercolors on this paper, and I just painted different things with each color as I went and then filled in the spread, and I really like how this turned out. Like, I feel like some of these, like this one and this little guy and this little thing, are kind of cool looking, so yeah. This sketchbook is really different for me because it features a lot of experimentation and a lot less restriction. Even though I just said that this sketchbook, I held back a lot of my ideas, this was my absolute favorite page in the sketchbook for years, which is kind of funny because I created this page and I did not like it. And then I tried to take some of the color inspiration from this page and mix it with my watercolors, and then this page came from it. And I love how this spread turned out. Specifically, I love this little painting right here. And it just goes to show, like, sometimes a bad page can inspire like something way better, so you just have to keep painting. Compared to my other sketchbooks, I really went forward and drew, because in my other sketchbooks, I wanted every page to be a final presentable piece. While in this sketchbook, you can see there's a lot of these little nonsensical drawings, sometimes just little messes on pages, experimenting with colors. Like, most pages in this, I don't feel like are that, I guess, presentable. But nonetheless, this really, even though this year I don't feel like I completed as many pieces of art that I love, this I actually think might be, at this point, my best technical watercolor work I'd ever completed. And so I was really proud of this page for a very long time. I think they're all really cute, all these little pigs. This is a really important page to me because it was the first time during the quarantine. It was like a nice day and I was able to get out and sketch a little bit from life, because up until this point I was like, all these drawings were done in my apartment, which is why there's so many just like of my boyfriends sitting at the table working on something. And so yeah, this is a really important page to me because I remember being able to go sit in a park and just paint people going by, and I remember this lady holding her flowers coming out of the flower shop, and yeah, I love this page. Yeah, and this was also done in the park. I feel like this year I really improved my creativity and my art skills, but I have not that much to show for it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there are less pages in this sketchbook that I love than in my old sketchbooks, but there was just such a larger body of work that I created this year because I sketched so much more often without restriction, that I messed up more, but I also improved a lot. I don't know how to explain it. But I really do like this sketchbook, and it's something different for me because there's, like I said, a lot of pages, this wasn't done by me, this was done by my boyfriend's brother. But there's a lot of pages that I don't love in this sketchbook, and a lot of pages I'd rather not show you. Like, there are a lot of pages that I got some ideas out, like this one, which is, I talked about in a video. This is an idea and I want to come back to. This like kind of like person with one of those light fish lights on their forehead. It's an idea I want to come back to, and I feel like I executed it really badly here. And normally I would rather not show people badly executed versions of ideas I have, but, or normally I wouldn't even try creating something if I don't feel like I could create it perfectly, which is why so much of my art doesn't get created. But with this sketchbook, I feel like I really opened up and just created more. That being said, I mean, this is a 40-page sketchbook around. I guess I created on both sides, so let's say 80-page sketchbook. And it still took me 10 months to fill in. So I wouldn't say I was creating as often as I'd like to, but I still created a lot more than my old sketchbooks, which had like 20 pages and it would take me a year to fill in. So yeah, I feel like I drew a lot more, even though still I didn't paint or draw as often as I would like to. I really do like this sketchbook, and I like how everything turned out. This is for a video that I swear will take me 5 months to create. Maybe one day I will finish this video. Yeah, this is another page I actually kind of really like, because I completed this from life study when I was visiting my mom, and I did not like it because I just felt like I put in too much detail. And so I learned from this, and I tried to simplify painting a landscape with watercolor, and I really like how this one turned out. So yeah, this is probably my favorite page in this sketchbook. I don't know what it is about it, I just love it so much. I love the colors, I love some of the ideas in here. I want to like separate and do their own thing. I love how it's all layered together. I also really love these pages. This is a video, I think one of my most recent videos on my channel, and it's actually the first portrait in my portrait drawing challenge for 2021. So you can go check that out and hear more about the challenge and how you could be drawn by me. And this is another portrait of me, and I really like this portrait. It's done with watercolor, and I think it turned out really nice. I really feel like this sketchbook, my ideas got better, the way I was able to express myself got better, and I got so much looser, and I wasn't as afraid to create. And so I'm really excited to see what comes next. This is my first attempt with gouache. Also, like I was saying, this sketchbook features a lot of experimentation, and so I feel like this sketchbook tour will be really interesting to compare with future sketchbook tours, because I feel like you'll be able to tie a lot of my future art back to this sketchbook, if that makes sense. And this is the last page, even though technically, like I said, this was the last page in the sketchbook. I completed this page, and this is the only page that I completed on public transit, which is weird because a lot of my art before was done on public transit. So anywho, that's the end of the sketchbook. This sketchbook tour, I feel like I don't know what to say when I do a sketchbook tour, but I hope you enjoyed a more chatty version, looking through my sketchbook and me just rambling about different things. Yeah. If you like the art of my sketchbook and you're not subscribed, a lot of it was done in videos. All these beginning acrylic pages were done in videos. These 2 pages were done in videos. This was done in a video. Like, so many of these pages, all of this Peachtober stuff here was done in videos. So if you're interested in seeing the processes for any of the art on my channel, you should definitely check out the rest of my channel. This was done in a video, yeah. And on my art Instagram, I post stuff before I post it on YouTube, so I'll link that all down below. I hope you enjoyed this rambly sketchbook tour. See you in the next video, where I probably will create some art. Bye-bye.